Welcome everyone to Beyond the Finish Line, my new series where I review the latest weekly challenges, show which cars I used, and offer you potential cars to use yourself to complete the challenges. Typically, I like to use cars I haven't driven before or haven't driven much, unless the challenge calls for a specific car. I'll also show what changes I made to any car in order to make the race more challenging for myself. And also show you the strategy I used for the fifth race, which has always been a race with tire wear and fuel consumption, and can be the most challenging of the bunch. Now I'll quickly go through each race and showcase any highlights and blunders I may have had, and show what it took for me to get the win. And before we start, please like, comment and subscribe. A simple click for you is a big help to the channel and is appreciated more than I can express. Thank you. This week, the first race is the European Sunday Cup 500 at Sardinia Road Track. Second is the Japanese Clubman Cup 550 at Laguna. Third race is the special event at Daytona Road Course. Fourth is the race of turbo sports cars at Suzuka, and the fifth is the neoclassical at Fuji Speedway. The first race is 2 laps at Sardinia. I'm driving the DS3 Racing from DS Automobiles, and this is the setup I used. Only the sports upgrades were added to this car, and I'm on racing soft tires. This race started off pretty basic like most other first races of the challenges, steadily moving up the back of the field, fast through the first lap, without any real issues with the AI, getting into P3 before half the lap was done. After turn 1 on the second lap, I was able to make the moves for the lead, getting P2, and after a little contact and some off-roading, got into P1, then got a little dirty bump, but it wasn't anything that would cost me the lead. And that was it for race 1, a pretty simple race like most of the first races of the challenges. Race 2, 3 laps at Laguna, and I'm in the 1988 Toyota Supra 3.0 GT Turbo A, and here's the setup for this car. Again, I just bought the sports upgrades for this car and driving on racing soft tires. By the time we got to the downhill S, I had moved up to P7 while P1 was distancing himself from the rest of us. Turn 1 on the second lap, picked up 2 quick positions, moving from P6 to P4 and then chasing down P3 to take the position from him on the next turn. A little further down the road on the same lap, I caught P2 and got him with the outside pass, lost control for a second, but it wasn't major and I kept the position. P1 had put enough distance on me that I didn't catch him till the third lap, and in the same place, and made the same outside move to take the lead. And with about a quarter of the lap left, I held on for the win with P2 not far behind. Third race is the one-make special event at Daytona, and for this race we are put in the famous 1970 Plymouth Superbird. And yet again, I've only added the sports upgrades, but this time I'm running on racing hard tires. By the time we hit the first part of the oval, I had moved up to P8, and by the end of it I was in P5, but learned that the AI had more power than me. Then got taken out approaching the bus stop, but managed to save it, but had to play a little dirty just to stay with the pack, and was able to get back into P5 once we started the last oval section. On turn 1, I almost got taken out again, little side swipe and I almost lost it, saved it, lost P5 for a quick second, but got it back fast. A little later, now in P4, I took myself out this time, rear-ended P3 and lost it trying to swerve away and went for a ride, and ended up all the way back in P9. Starting the final lap, I was back up to P4 with a pack of cars right behind me. Here as we were going through the turn leading to the oval, I was able to overtake P1 and 2 and take the lead. But with the AI having more power, I was weary of them passing me on the straight or even the last oval section. But luckily that didn't happen and I held on and walked away with the victory. The fourth race is 5 laps at Suzuka, and I chose to drive the RE Amamiya RX-7. For this one, I only had 2 upgrades installed, the semi-racing muffler and sport brake system with racing soft tires. Through the first lap, I moved up the back of the field steadily with a little contact here and there, but no major issues, and no major battling for position, and got by about half the field around 3/4 of the way. At the start of the second lap, I moved into P7 and had a decent gap to close to catch the front pack. I managed to catch them after the S's and was able to move up 3 positions fairly quickly, all the while wondering when the rain will start. Close to end of the second, I got into P3, but then watched P2 leave me behind as we started the third lap. I caught him of the S's and made the pass, and by the end of the S's I was able to move into P1. In the final lap the rain started and I had a few moments that could have cost me the race. On this straight I lost P1, and with the track being wet, I was worried about spinning out trying to get back to position on the final section, trying to outbrake the AI. I managed to pull it off without any real contact, just a slight hit from the AI, but it didn't throw me off and I held on for the win in the RX-7. The fifth and final race, 10 laps at Fuji International Speedway, and for this one I'm driving the Pikes Peak Suzuki Escudo. I have the available upgrades installed in this car, and only adjusted the front downforce to meet the 800 pp requirements, with racing softs. To start the second, I moved up to P10, and eventually moved into P9 a little further down, and got P8 after starting the third. Then I spent the rest of the third and the entire fourth lap playing catch-up, then gained a position due to pitting and another on an overtake. I lost a position just before I headed for the pits, and also ran out of fuel as I got into the lane. I exited back in P12 and had to switch to intermediates because it was raining, and completely missed turn 1 and went into the shadow realm and fell back to P13. I had a couple more moments, trying to catch up in the rain, but did gain some positions due to pitting. Final lap, and in P6, and the AI ahead of me had a moment themselves that helped me a lot. I got by these two, one car was getting lapped and the other I took his position. Got into P3 here, then got P2 while lapping another car, and with P1 swerving in the rain, I took that position and the lead, and then ran out of fuel again on the final straight to the line. And lucky for me, the AI had some problems on the final turn, and I didn't have to worry about running out of fuel, and got the win. This was an interesting week of races, 2 of them having the potential to rain, and the one making the Superbird made it pretty cool and a good challenge. The first race in the DS automobile was pretty much a throwaway race. It was cool driving the DS, but nothing special. I just got to use a car I've never driven before. Race 2 in the 88 Super was fun because it's always fun to race at Laguna Seca. The race was good and the Super was decent, and with only the sports upgrades, I did have to actually race to get the win. Third race, the one make special event, was probably the coolest of the bunch for the simple fact of driving the Superbird and seeing all the other Superbirds in different liveries, and it was a decent challenge to get the win. Fourth race in the RX-7 wasn't as challenging as I would have liked. With only 2 upgrades installed, I thought it would be more difficult, but leading with 2.5 laps left to go didn't give me the challenge I wanted. The final race in the Escudo was the hardest, and this one did give me the challenge I wanted, with the rain, my blunders, and the gap I needed to close, as well as not getting the lead till the end of the final lap and running out of fuel. I could have lost this one very easy. This week was decent, aside from the throwaway, and the RX-7 still being OP with only 2 upgrades. The other 3 races were actually fun. A race full of Superbirds just looks cool, and as I said, Laguna Seca is always fun, and the Neoclassical had me really using the little skill I have just to get the win. Drop in the comments what cars you used for each race. Hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.